My name's Sam. I'm a professional mountain climber. 10 years ago, I stood on the summit of Everest, the highest point on Earth. I told myself I'd never do it again. Once was enough. But when my best friend Ethan called, I couldn't say no. He said, "Sam, I want to see what you saw up there. I want to know what it feels like to touch the sky." And against every ounce of logic in my body, I said yes. Ethan wasn't new to climbing, but Everest isn't just another mountain. It's a living, breathing monster. We spent 6 months training, ice walls, altitude simulations, survival drills. He joked a lot, said he wanted to, race me to the top. But I could tell, beneath the laughter, he was nervous. And honestly, so was I. Our team of 6 left base camp on a cold morning in May. The air already felt thin, like breathing through a straw. Every step higher felt like we were walking on the edge of another world. By day 3, we were making good time. The weather forecast looked perfect. Clear skies, mild winds. It almost felt too easy. We stopped for a short break near Camp 3, 23,000 feet up. Ethan looked at me and said, "You think the mountain remembers you?" I laughed it off, but inside, I couldn't shake the feeling. Mountains do remember. Especially Everest. That night, I woke up to the sound of flapping tent fabric. The wind was howling. My oxygen gauge flickered. Malfunction. Ethan's tent light was off. I crawled out, and he wasn't there. For a split second, panic froze me solid. Then, I saw his shadow a few meters away. He was outside, staring at the sky, completely silent. "Couldn't sleep," he said. "It's so quiet up here. It almost feels like we're the last people on Earth." I didn't say it then, but I had a bad feeling that quiet wouldn't last. The next morning, the radio crackled with static. Base camp warned us about a sudden change in weather. Fast-moving storm system from the west. We had 2 options: turn back or push to Camp 4 before the winds hit. Ethan wanted to push forward. I hesitated, but one look at his determined face and I agreed. Big mistake. By midday, visibility dropped to near 0. We clipped into the safety line, crawling up the fixed ropes. Snow whipped at our faces like sandpaper. Then, a crack. A section of ice beneath Ethan gave way. "Ethan? Sam? The rope! It's slipping!" I dropped to my knees, anchored my axe, and pulled with everything I had for a terrifying 10 seconds. Nothing. Then I felt tension. He was still there. Alive. We crawled to a ledge, breathless. That's when my radio died. Completely silent. No more weather updates. No more base camp. Just us and the storm. By evening, we were less than 2,000 feet from the summit, but the wind sounded like jet engines. We set up a small bivouac to wait it out. Ethan was exhausted. His oxygen tank was leaking. I offered him mine, but he refused. "You need it more, Sam. You're the one keeping us alive." A few hours later, it happened. A deep, low boom. Then, silence. Then, the world exploded in white. When I came to, everything was buried. My legs were trapped. I screamed for Ethan. No answer. I started digging with my bare hands, numb and bleeding. Finally, I found a glove, then his arm. He was unconscious, but breathing. I used the last of my oxygen to drag him into a snow hollow. We spent the night there, half buried, sharing one thermal blanket. No radio, no light, just the sound of our own shallow breathing. Morning came, if you could call it that. A pale blue glow filtered through the snow ceiling. Ethan's lips were blue, but he opened his eyes. "You saved me, didn't you?" he whispered. I laughed. A dry, broken laugh. Barely. Hours later, I heard the faint chop of helicopter blades. A rescue team spotted our emergency beacon. The last thing I'd managed to trigger before the avalanche. They pulled us out by winch. Ethan was hypothermic but alive. And as I watched the mountain disappear below, I realized Everest doesn't care how strong you are. It only teaches one lesson: respect. Ethan spent 2 weeks in a hospital recovering from frostbite. He told me, Guess I owe you a few beers for saving my life." I smiled, but inside, I knew that climb changed me. It wasn't about conquering the mountain this time, it was about keeping a promise and learning that sometimes the hardest climbs aren't the ones that take you higher, but the ones that bring you back home alive.